There is a word that has quietly become the way India buys almost everything. Not the price, the EMI. We no longer ask what a thing costs. We ask what the monthly comes to. A phone is not 40,000 rupees anymore. It is 1999 a month. And that small shift in the question, from what does it cost to what is the monthly, has changed more about our finances than almost anything else in a generation. Now let me tell you where I stand, because this ends with an opinion. I am not against borrowing. Credit, used well, is one of the most powerful tools a household has. The thing that lets you buy the house, or the degree, or the machine that earns its keep. But I have watched credit quietly change its job, from a tool that builds a future into a way of paying for a present we cannot yet afford. And that second kind of debt does not build anything. It just moves the bill forward with interest. Because the stakes here are not abstract, they show up as a number. For years, Indians were famous savers, a household that put money aside almost by reflex. But that habit has been quietly reversing. Household debt has been climbing to among the highest levels we have ever recorded, while the savings that used to cushion us have thinned. We are, slowly, becoming a nation that owes. And if you ask people why, most would point to the big, sensible loans, the home, the car. But you know what? That is not where the real shift is. The fastest growing debt is the small, easy, unsecured kind. The personal loan, the credit card balance, the buy now, pay later button that turns a moment of wanting into a monthly obligation before you have even left the page. So here is what we are going to do. First, how the EMI quietly rewires the way you judge what you can afford. Then, the trap itself, the loop that closes so slowly you never hear it click. And finally, the big one, how a household walks back out, because it can. Fundamentals first. An EMI feels like a discount, but it is the opposite. When a shop turns 40,000 rupees into a small monthly number, your brain compares that little number to your monthly income, and it looks easy. What it hides is the total, the interest stacked on top, and the fact that you have just promised away a slice of every future month for a thing you are already using up today. Let me translate that into the trap, because this is where it turns from a choice into a cycle. See, the danger is not one EMI, one is manageable. The danger is that each EMI quietly lowers the money you have left at the end of the month. So the next unexpected expense, the one a cushion should have absorbed, now has to be borrowed for too. And that new borrowing adds another EMI, which lowers next month further, which makes the following shock another loan. That is the loop. You borrow to cover a gap, the borrowing widens the gap, so you borrow again. Round and round, each turn feeling small, each turn tightening. People do not fall into debt in one dramatic leap. They descend one reasonable monthly installment at a time, and the trap is that every single step looks affordable, right up until the moment the whole staircase does not. And here is where it genuinely worries me, because an entire industry has learned to sell you the descent as if it were freedom. No cost EMI, they say, as though interest simply vanished when it has usually just been folded into the price. Pre-approved, they say, as if being handed a loan you did not ask for were a compliment and not a business betting on your weakness. The friction that used to make us pause before borrowing has been carefully, deliberately removed. Now, to be fair, this is not all recklessness and it is not all predatory. A great deal of this borrowing is people with real, rising aspirations reaching for a life that their parents could not and often getting it. And easy credit has genuinely let millions buy the scooter that gets them to work or the laptop that earns them a living. Access to credit is not the villain. The villain is credit sold as if it were free to people never shown the true shape of what they were signing. But here is the line I want to draw between two kinds of debt that we lazily call by the same name. There is debt that buys an asset, a thing that grows or earns or lasts, the house, the skill, the tool. And there is debt that buys a moment, a sale, a festival, an upgrade you will have forgotten in a year. The first can be an investment. The second is just your future self, paying extra for your present self's impatience. Now, there is real reason for hope here, honestly, because unlike a flood or a layoff, this is a trap. A household can actually dismantle from the inside. And the first tool is almost embarrassingly simple. Before any EMI, ask one question. Not can I afford the monthly, but can I afford the total? The moment you convert that friendly little monthly number back into the full price, with interest, half of these purchases quietly lose their shine. And the way out of the loop, if you are already in it, is not mysterious either, it is just hard. List every debt, smallest to largest, and attack the smallest with everything you have while paying the minimum on the rest. Each one you kill frees up its monthly, which becomes ammunition for the next. It is the same loop that trapped you, run in reverse, each cleared installment making the following one easier, until the staircase is climbing again. So the next time something is offered to you in easy monthly pieces, I hope you will hear the fuller sentence underneath it. Not, this is affordable, but I am promising a slice of my future income with interest for something I want right now. Sometimes that will still be worth it, but you will be deciding it, instead of a button deciding it for you. They say a little debt is a wonderful servant and a terrible master. The whole game, the only game, is making sure you always know which one you are talking to. Because the monthly will always sound gentle. It is the total and the years that tell the truth.